Have you ever wondered how giants like Google or Netflix can handle millions of us all at once without, just collapsing? Well, the secret sauce is this technology called autoscaling. Today, we're going to break down how it works, some of the big pitfalls, and get this, its surprisingly massive impact on the planet.
Okay, so let's start with a feeling we have all had. The tickets for that huge concert finally go on sale, or the new must-have gadget drops. You hit refresh, and nothing. The site is down. Why? Why does this always happen at the worst possible time?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, but man, is it a tough nut to crack. It's a problem of scale. The system they built for a normal Tuesday just can't handle that sudden massive flood of people all trying to get in the door at once.
Cloud Zero actually has this fantastic analogy for it. Your website gets popular, you're seeing real results, and then you realize the digital clothes you designed for it, your server capacity, they just don't fit anymore. So what do? Get bigger clothes or just get more clothes? And that question, it really leads us to the two big ways people try to solve this problem of scale.
So, on one hand, you've got vertical scaling or scaling up. That's like upgrading your one server with a more powerful engine, more CPU, more memory. It's pretty straightforward, but you eventually hit a wall. On the other hand, you have horizontal scaling or scaling out. This is where you just add more servers to your group and they all share the work. The real game changer here is that last row, resilience. And this is really the make or break difference. With vertical scaling, you've got one super-powered machine. If that machine fails, everything goes dark. It is a single point of failure. But when you scale horizontally, if one of your servers in the group goes down, no big deal. The others just pick up the slack. For the kind of always-on services we expect today, that resilience is absolutely non-negotiable.
Okay, so horizontal scaling is the way to go. But, you can't have a person sitting there 24/7 ready to add a new server the second traffic starts to climb. So the first step to automating this was what we call a reactive, rule-based approach. And this is reactive autoscaling. It's basically built on simple if-then rules. If the average CPU usage hits 80%, then add another server. Or when it drops below a certain point, remove one. It sounds pretty smart and effective, right? But, and this is a big but, it's actually deeply flawed.
In fact, this whole simple approach is a minefield of common and really expensive mistakes. Let's run through 5 of the biggest ones you'll see. First up, there's this temptation to scale way too aggressively. If your rules are too sensitive, you end up spinning up new servers for every tiny little traffic blip, and that costs money. But if you're too quick to scale back down, your performance suffers. It's this really tricky balancing act. Now, this one is so important. When you add a new server, it's not like flipping a light switch. Nope. It needs time to warm up. It's got to boot up, load all its software, connect to the databases. By the time it's actually ready to help out, your traffic spike might already be overwhelming your other servers. Reactive scaling is always playing catch-up. So to stop the system from just freaking out, you need these things called cooldown periods. It's like telling it to just take a breath. Without that pause, the system gets stuck in this crazy, frantic loop. Add a server, load drops. Remove a server, load spikes right back up. Add another server. You get the picture. It's just wildly inefficient. And the last couple of big ones are all about bad configuration. Number 4 is not setting proper limits. If you don't set a maximum, some runaway glitch could just keep adding servers and you'll get a shocking bill. And number 5, if you don't set a minimum, you could accidentally scale down to 0 and your entire website just vanishes. It's all about putting up the right guardrails.
So reactive scaling helps. But it is always looking in the rearview mirror, just playing catch-up. What if we could stop reacting to the past and start preparing for the future? Well, that's exactly where AI comes in. This is the predictive leap. And this chart just shows it perfectly. Look at that reactive line. It only starts to climb after the traffic spike is already underway. That gap, that's when your users are having a bad time. But look at the predictive line. It anticipates what's coming. It starts adding servers before the spike even arrives, so everything is warmed up and ready to go at exactly the right moment.
So how does it pull off this magic trick? It's all about machine learning. The system looks at all your past traffic data, and it learns your patterns, your daily highs and lows, your weekly cycles. It then uses that to forecast the future and scales out ahead of time. And for those totally unpredictable moments, it's still watching the live data and can react in an instant. You really get the best of both worlds.
So we've gone from crashing websites to this super smart predictive system that can see the future. But hold on, because the story doesn't end there. The ultimate impact of getting this right is way, way bigger than just keeping our favorite websites online.
See, data centers, the actual physical buildings that run our internet, are incredible energy hogs. Right now, they're responsible for over 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's more than the entire commercial airline industry. And here's the crucial part. A huge chunk of that energy is just waste. It's from servers that are powered on but are barely doing any work. They're just sitting there, idling. This is the exact problem that old-school, inefficient scaling creates. We are literally paying to power empty rooms. So what happens when you get it right? When you use this predictive AI to perfectly match your resources to what you actually need? Well, the results are just staggering. During the big 2022 Double 11 shopping festival, just one company saved 947 tons of CO2. Let that sink in. From a single event, just by getting rid of those idle, wasteful servers. Which leaves us with this really incredible final thought. We started this whole conversation with a technical problem about why websites crash. We ended with a solution that cuts down on massive amounts of carbon emissions. It really makes you wonder. As our world gets more and more digital, could smarter code, things like predictive autoscaling, actually be one of our most unexpected and most powerful tools in the fight for a greener planet?